Hey everyone, I'm just going to cover this article from CBC News, and I'm hopefully going to keep this video fairly short, but I thought it was really important to cover the information, the numbers, the figures contained within this particular article, just to show you how manipulative those in the establishment media truly can be. Now, I know you've heard me and probably a few others say that old saying, which is there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. And yeah, that's a saying for a reason. Because numbers are very easily manipulated or skewed based on how you report, measure, or construe those numbers. I mean, we all know the old mode, median, and means methodology, which, once again, all three ways of finding an average can give you a completely different outlook or outcome, right? So we know how easy that is. But there's also the very real fact that when you're talking about numbers, especially in terms of the representation or the percentage in terms of populations, that matters a lot. The numbers themselves, such as this article, which you're talking about 21 million Americans who are now on COVID-19 unemployment benefits, well, yeah, that's a big number, 21 million. But what is that as a representation or percentage of the American population? Well, like I say, I'm going to get into those numbers and explain it further here shortly. Rest assured on that. Headline out of CBC News Business: another 1.5 million Americans filed for new jobless claims last week, bringing COVID-19 total to 21 million. This is being reported by the Associated Press, June 18th, 2020. So as you see, another 1.5 million Americans filed for new jobless claims last week, bringing COVID-19 total to 21 million. So this is the unemployment rate for those who are receiving some kind of federal funding in relation or in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. But once again, COVID didn't make all these people unemployed. Government did that. It was government response and mandates, those mandated shutdowns and lockdowns, that have caused this kind of mass unemployment. Not the virus itself, because as we're seeing, now that actual figures are coming out in terms of infection and death rates, yeah, it's much, much smaller than was originally touted or suggested. About 1.5 million laid off workers applied for U.S. unemployment benefits last week, a historically high number, even as the economy increasingly reopens and employers bring some people back to work. The latest figure from the Labor Department marked the 11th straight weekly decline in applications since they peaked at nearly 7 million in March as the coronavirus shut down much of the economy and caused tens of millions of layoffs. The decline was much smaller, though, than in recent weeks, falling just 58,000. So no, once again, the coronavirus did not shut down much of the economy and cause tens of millions of people to be laid off. No, government did that. Stop blaming the virus. The virus doesn't get into politics or the business world, right? No, that's authoritarians, central planners, and micromanagers, aka big government. The total number of people receiving unemployment aid also fell slightly, reflecting the return of many to their old jobs. The job market appears to have begun a slow recovery. In May, employers added 2.5 million jobs, an increase that suggested that the job market has bottomed out. The unemployment rate declined from 14.7% to a still high 13.3%. Now, like I say, so this is the numbers that the CBC, like Canada's national broadcast, like they love trying to talk down about the U.S., right? Trying to make it as if the U.S., oh, they're just a bunch of idiots and, Trump can't figure shit out. And, just that talking down through their noses kind of bullshit, or looking down through their noses as if they're so superior or so supreme to their American counterparts. Like I say, whether it's those in the health field, or the political or media class in this country, like I say, a lot of elitists in this country who like to act and pretend that they're holier than thou, as well as intellectually and morally superior to our neighbors to the south. But, once again, all you have to do is sit down and actually take these numbers, put them into proper context, and then the actual truth is properly revealed. Now, you're not going to get that from the CBC article, but hey, that's what I'm here for. Well, not necessarily, but I do it anyways, right? No, I wasn't actually placed on this earth to debunk bullshit misinformation or fake news from the CBC. But like I say, I'll do it anyways. Why? Because I can And I actually genuinely do enjoy pointing out the hypocrisy and the idiocy that is so representative of these hacks at the CBC these days. Anyways, like I say, so you take that number, 21 million, then like I say, all you have to do, hey, real easy way for you to make sure that I'm doing my math proper and so that you can check it out and verify for yourself is, like I say, just type in percentage calculator, go to Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you want to use, type in percentage calculator, bring it up, and then just type in 21 million out of a population of 330 million. Type that in and see what a percentage that is in terms of the population of the US. And you'll see it's around 6%. So 6% of the population, and yeah, that's still a pretty high number, right? 6% of the population in just a matter of like a month or a couple short months now being on the doles of big government. Yeah, that's, like I say, that's a huge expenditure and cost that's going to be laid at the feet of a lot of people who aren't going to be happy about it. But compare and contrast that with Canada and the official numbers coming out of our programs, well, the CERB program in particular, and you'll see just how much worse it is in this country than the US. In this country, a full 7.8 million Canadians took CERB. And in a population of only 37 million people in total, that number is representative of over 21%, which means it's more than 1 in 5 Canadians who are now on the government dole. And Trudeau has just announced they're going to keep that extended for another 2 months. So Canadians are on the dole of government for months already, and they're going to be on the dole of big government for months going forward. Like I say, a full 7.8 million of them. Now, like I say, that 6% number in the US, yeah, that's pretty bad. But 6% is quite a bit lower than even 10%, which would still represent 1 in 10 people in the US, but much, much better than 1 in 5. That means Canada is in excess of double, right? Actually, what am I saying? 6% to 21%? You're triple. Matter of fact, a little bit more than that, you're getting close to quadruple the amount of people taking CERB in Canada in comparison to those who are on the government dole in the US. And that's the thing. The US doesn't have nearly as many socialist or socialized programs to pick up the slack as Canada does. So this is telling you that the Americans are finding ways to get by without having to run the big government, whereas Canadians, or at least a large substantial portion of the working age Canadians in this country, is all it took was one emergency that, like I say, it's only been ongoing for what, a couple months so far, but all it took was one economic emergency, and Canadians, 7.8 million of them, had to hold their hand out for a bailout from big government. Does that sound like a country filled with a population of people who are economically or personally responsible with their finances? No. So stop playing the BS game, CBC and Associated Press, and trying to talk smack about the US and trying to pump up Canada. Because once again, well, I mean, if you're just preaching to the choir, or the rest of your leftists that represent academia, those in the media, if you're just trying to appeal to the connected or the ruling class, or their minions and mouthpieces in the media, then, well, once again, you're just functioning in an echo chamber. And forgetting about the millions of other Canadians who actually stand on the sidelines and watching you folks playing politics with these kind of numbers and being so out of touch with actual reality. You wonder why these people are losing credibility by the day. Stuff like this is why. Anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below, and I'm going to move on to the next one, because, yeah, there's definitely a lot that's got to be covered. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.